This past year in 2024, I ended up with depression. I never thought I would ever be in a place like that. It was very difficult, and it also was interesting. It was something I didn't expect. I thought that at the time I was living a good life and enjoying myself, but I knew there were some things that were misaligned, and I wasn't paying attention to them, which is a reason that I want to be able to help others navigate this space as I went on a journey to try to figure out how to overcome depression and why did it happen to me and how was I going to go back to my old life or regular life as I used to call it. I desperately wanted my life back when I had depression, desperately, and I just wanted it to go back to normal. The great thing about it was that as I continued on to try to figure out how to navigate this space and feel better, I gained a new life. I gained a new perspective and way of thinking about myself that I think is going to be useful in the next chapter of my life. So there's four things that I realized that made me think about depression in a different way. I stopped thinking about depression as something negative in my life and something that was sabotaging the way I wanted to live my life. And I started thinking about it as a superpower, as four different things that were going to help me get to the next version of me that was going to be better than the last version of me. Those four things are: one, depression is a notification system of sorts. It's an emotional notification system. It's trying to let you know there's something off here, there's something wrong, and you better take a look at it, right? You better take a look at what's going on and why you feel this way. Number two, guidance. It's guiding you to a different place, a place where you are going to feel much better, that where you're going to feel like your true self. Number three, the opposite of depression, it's not joy, it's not happiness or contentment or some sort of feeling that's positive. The opposite of depression is expression. So you have been basically not expressing something, whether it's an emotion, whether it's some type of identity that you feel like might not be seen. Something within you is not being expressed. And so depression occurs because the definition of depression, if you go back to the actual place where they got this word, the Latin word actually means to press down. So you are pressing down on something that you need to express. And number four, self-discovery, which I think is where the bulk of your ability to transform into a different person that is a better person, that's more equipped with the tools that you need to be resilient and to survive the many things that life will hit you with, is where it's all at. The self-discovery is where you want to get to. So I'm going to go in the order that I feel that makes sense to me, starting with depression being a notification system. And this is truly why I say it is a superpower. There are people that get depression, but not everyone in the world gets depression. And that is why it's a superpower. Like, it's something that you are able to feel in a much more deeper way. Is it amazing? No. Does it make you feel great? No, it's horrible. I mean, honestly, I've been there before, and it feels like you can't get up as much as you want to, as much as you want to have the life that you used to have before, as much as you want to do the things you were doing before. It's like you weigh 1,000 tons and you're fatigued to a degree that you can't comprehend, and you don't even know where it came from. But if you look at it as a notification system, it will help you to decipher what is missing. So it's notifying you of, hey, there's something off here. Whether it's a misalignment of maybe values that you have, maybe your values in life are health and fitness, but you have an injury and you aren't unable to do what you did before. That could cause depression. You're just not able to express something that you used to do before. And it's notifying you that you're missing something and you're misaligned in that way. Now, of course, if you have an injury, it can prevent you from doing something that you used to love, but it doesn't prevent you from doing small things that can help you to get to a place where you find joy in smaller ways of exploring that thing that you love. So that's one example. For me, it notified me that something was off about my relationship with somebody. I had a relationship and it was causing me a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and it felt like I was in some kind of roller coaster of emotions. It was a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and I didn't know where they were coming from because I always seemed pretty steady as far as the way that I was acting in the relationship, not acting, but like being in the relationship. And little fights would start here and there that the person would bring up, and I didn't understand what he would be talking about because I didn't do or say the things that he was saying. And I was so caught up with making that person realize or see me for who I am that I would often, combat them with, that's not who I am. Like, why can't you just see who I am? And it created a lot of misalignment with my own personal values of, having a steady relationship that was more peaceful, that was focused on growth, which is one of my values, growing as a person. So it was misaligned. And that was a notification for me because eventually depression hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was depressed for months, and it was difficult to deal with everyday things. I mean, I could not get up from my bed. I did every day, but I felt like I weighed thousands of pounds, and like the core of the earth was literally pulling me down. And I didn't really understand at that moment why I was going through something. But I realized finally there's something wrong here, and I need to explore what depression is notifying me of. So that points me to my second idea behind depression being your superpower. Depression's not the opposite of joy or the opposite of happiness or the opposite of contentment. Depression is your inability to express something. And that could be like your inability to express an emotion. It could be your inability to express your identity. It could be the inability to express, a hobby. Like I mentioned before, it could be just like you can't work out when that was something you did all your life. So it's maybe the inability to express a value on your day-to-day life or your weekly or monthly, way of living. So depression leads you to understand that there is some lack of expression somewhere. So you are basically putting yourself in a jar and you keep suppressing this one thing or a multitude of things that is keeping you in that same state. What is it that you are unable to express? Is a question you should ask yourself so that you can get to understand what is valuable to you in your everyday life, or I call it weekly life or monthly life, because, for example, your value could be adventure, but maybe you have a 9 to 5 and you realize, every week or every month or every 3 months or whatever, I find myself not including this value of adventure. I just stay home. I'm just 9 to 5 every day. I just go to work. I go to sleep. I get up, right? And you realize I'm not living to fulfill my value of adventure. Now, of course, many of us have to work and we have to figure out ways to fulfill them, but there are so many ways to fulfill that aspect of adventure. Maybe it's just trying something new, right? Maybe it's just trying a new thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you pay for. It could just be there's an event and that is free and you could go to it and you just have to get up and try it and go to it. So you want to be able to start expressing yourself in whatever way you feel you have not been able to. And sometimes it's also just expressing negative emotions, You have all this pent up, potentially negative things. Because some of the things that would happen to me is I would just be doing something normal. I would be, working out when I finally was able to go back to the gym because I hadn't in 2 months from how depressed I was. But getting back to that, I would just be randomly doing that, and all of a sudden I get a depression wave and I'm like, wait, what? But I was doing fine. Where did that come from? What's going on? And I wouldn't want to cry in public, so I wouldn't, and I would just keep it there and suppressed, and I would go about life feeling the expression of depression becoming more and more prominent until you feel like you can't move at all. And I started to realize, what, right now, because of what happened to me, I'm mad, I'm angry, I am sad, I am literally broken down, and I just need to cry. That is one thing that I need to do, and that is going to help me express those feelings of hurt, and that is okay. So that's one way you express yourself. And usually when I used to do that, I would feel better. And if you go to therapy, if you've had therapists talk to you, they always tell you, well, if you need to cry, you need to cry, and you'll probably feel better afterwards. It's yes, because you need to express those feelings you have that you haven't been able to express. So it could be thousands of different things, but you need to find what is it that you need to express in order for you to feel better. The next one is guidance. Depression is guiding you somewhere, right? Firstly, it's notified you. Secondly, it's made you realize you're not expressing yourself in some kind of capacity that you actually need to express yourself in. Number 3, it's guiding you to a better place. Depression is not here to make you feel horrible and sabotage every desire and dream you had in your life. It feels that way because you literally can't get up and have the energy to do what you used to do before. So it feels like it's hurting you. It feels like it's sabotaging you. It feels like it wants to destroy you. But that's not what it's actually doing for you. What it's doing for you is that it's guiding you onto a different path in a different direction. And you have to commit to making that step happen so that the depression, little by little, starts dwindling away, right? So for me, when I realized, that I was getting depression and that it was stemming from an unhealthy relationship with somebody, I decided to take the step of leaving. I needed to leave the environment. Now, I had technically nowhere to go. I mean, I didn't have, well, first of all, I didn't have the ability to probably get another place by myself because I was in not the best place and I ended up with no jobs. So I wasn't going to be able to survive anywhere alone, technically. And the only thing I could think of was, my sister. Can my sister take me into her home? And we have a great relationship, so that worked out. But I know there's other people in situations that might not have a place to go or might not have the money to move around elsewhere. And I completely understand that. But I promise you, leaving an environment that is not good for you, as hard as it might be, will be better than staying in that same environment. In another place, you might be able to get that space you need to understand what's next. Because when you're in an environment that's unhealthy and you have been ruminating about why things can't work or why things don't work or why this is happening, why that, it's a rumination that happens that eventually leads to worse things like depression and anxiety and insomnia. Now you're unable to pretty much do anything, like the rest of your life is just out of whack. So if depression is guiding you to leave something behind, to get away from certain family members, to get away from your significant other because maybe they're unhealthy and they have to deal with things, to bring more joy into your life by following the values that are important to you. Maybe it's guiding you to express yourself in a way that feels true to you, but you're unable to because you're scared about who might say what and what would happen afterwards. It is guiding you to a more authentic self. And as hard as it might be, because trust me, I totally understand, it is difficult to kind of crush your own ideas of what you thought the world would be like or your life would be like. It hurts. But it's going to hurt more if you stay in something like that. So it's guiding you to a new life, a new you, a transformation that needs to happen. Now, a lot of people don't get to see that. Like people who have depression, they feel that and it feels heavy and you realize something is off. I'm not expressing myself in a certain way and I need to also maybe change what I'm doing. Maybe it's guiding me to change what I'm doing. And I have to at this point. I have to. Like depression, literally, if you don't try, will break you down. So you have to, at that point, make the commitment to find change that in your heart that your intuition is telling you need to change. And lastly, from my 4 points that I had, the last one is self-discovery. So after you've been notified by your superpower depression that something is off and you have asked yourself, why does that feel off? What am I not expressing, right? That I need to, right? Which is the second one. And you realize that expression that you want to have is guiding you somewhere, right? Because if you can't express yourself in a particular environment with particular people, you're going to have to change it, right? once you have also been guided to change, you're going to go on a self-discovery, a journey of self-discovery. There's no other way, because you have potentially been living your life suppressing feelings and not expressing your true identity, your authentic self, or your values, or any your feelings, your emotions. Basically, if you have been suppressing anything and you go through those 3 steps before, the only thing that's left is to literally go on a self-discovery journey, on that self-discovery mode. Because what's next is, for example, like I had mentioned, if you were unable to work out because you had a injury that has left you bedridden, maybe not permanently, right? Maybe it's not permanently, but it has left you there now. And you are starting to feel that depression. And you've said, it's notifying me there's a misalignment. I'm feeling depressed because I'm missing something. And then you realize, I'm not expressing myself like I used to before. I used to go, to the gym or play the sport, etc. And I'm not doing that anymore. And maybe it's guiding me to get back to that. And now you're like, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do that? Maybe you broke your leg. Maybe you had an ACL tear, right? And what now? Well, you take it one step at a time. And one tiny step at a time. I'm literally not telling you go to the gym tomorrow, even if you can't, right? That's not a possibility. But I'm saying, can you work on your shoulders? Right? Maybe you can't do a squat, that's fine. Can you strengthen your wrist? Can you take one tiny step at a time? Do you have physical therapy? And are you going to physical therapy and putting in your full effort and focusing on that therapy at that moment? That's what you need to do. And that's part of the self-discovery, because you are just gonna discover yourself again, basically, right? And within that, you're gonna find that you're strong, that you're resilient, that you're capable of getting up more times than you think that you can, and learning about yourself over and over again, because that's what life is about. Because the thing is, we might have depression today, and we might be able to overcome it by doing a couple of different things, or a multitude of things, or things that have worked out for you. But you never know where life's going to, lead you, or, where you're going to find yourself again. And you could be in the same place again, but you have tools now, right? And you have discovered things about yourself that have made you stronger, that you know what to do about later. And that's why doing these 4 things are extremely helpful to making your depression less prominent and it not becoming a permanent state for you. I might be crazy, and maybe I don't know a lot, but I 100% believe that you can get out of depression. But it's not an easy thing, and it's also a tricky thing. And you really have to take the step to discover more things about yourself, and really go deep and go in and realize things you've never realized before, ask your questions you haven't asked before, and do a lot of the inner work that is required for you to have these aha moments that are going to give you that new connection that your brain needs to overcome what you had gone through. But now this is notifying you that you need to change. And I believe everybody has the ability to do that. We just need to take it one step at a time. And I hope that these 4 different things can help you in, even if you don't try them out, just something to think about, instead of looking at depression as something that is hurting you, sabotaging you, causing sadness, not letting you live your life. Because I felt I felt that way for a long time. I just want to get back to me. I used to say, I just want to be normal. I just want my life to be like it used to be. And we get so wrapped up in this idea of like, I want that. Like, why can't it be like that? Why is this happening to me? And why is it sabotaging, my dreams and my ideas of an ideal world for myself? It's not sabotaging you. It's pushing you to become a better you, for you, not for anyone else. It's pushing you to pay attention to you. And it's notifying you. It's asking you to express yourself in ways that are true to you. It's guiding you to a better and different place. And it's telling you there's more of you to be discovered. So I hope that these 4 things can just help you think about it. And maybe one of those you can try. And see if you get closer to getting to the life that you desire and that you deserve. Sorry, because it was difficult for me, and I'm hoping that it can help somebody as well. So I will be making more videos of these that can help you, and taking a look at things in a different way, and things I've learned along the way while suffering with depression, anxiety, insomnia. I hope that you guys like the video and subscribe to my channel. It's brand new. This is my first video, but hopefully there will be more. And I am excited to be here and be able to talk to you guys and see if there's anything you can use from what I've learned. Thanks.